answered prayers in Tokyo, modern-day tent making, and an urban centre of influence in Western Poland. All this and much more from the front lines of mission coming up next. Hello and welcome to Mission 360. I'm Gary Krause. Today's program is coming to you from the city of Zielona Góra, which is in western Poland, not too far from the German border. And this is a city that has a lot of history, and behind me you can see the town hall, and it was originally built back in the 15th century as a wooden structure. But through the years there have been fires and reconstructions, and this is the latest incarnation. Well, we're going to be looking at mission right here in Poland on today's program. We're going to also learn about 1 year in mission. We're going to travel to Tokyo. But first up, modern day tent makers.
I'm standing among the ruins of ancient Corinth. This large and influential city was a center of religion, culture, and trade. When the Apostle Paul arrived in Corinth around 50 AD, he found work as a tent maker with husband and wife business team Aquila and Priscilla. Aquila and Priscilla had a heart for mission, and they faced a formidable mission challenge in this pagan city. Tent making may have been Paul's trade, but mission was his calling. And the Bible tells us that he reasoned every Sabbath in the temple, convincing both Jews and Greeks. Today we have modern tent makers. They don't necessarily make tents, but like Paul, they use their trade or profession to support their mission. They are missionaries, but they don't get a salary from the church. They find their own jobs in the marketplace, and their salary comes from their employers.
I decided that I should, just keep going and being a missionary as the purpose of my life. Through tent making, I could actually do my profession and be a missionary and take Jesus to people.
Tent makers usually work in countries and areas where regular mission work is difficult or not possible. They can work in places where missionaries are not allowed. They follow Christ's method of ministry, mingling, showing sympathy, ministering to needs, and winning confidence so that they can then bid people to follow Jesus.
So in this case, as a tent maker, I said I'm a teacher. It doesn't have to involve passing out literature because that will quickly get you exported out of the country. So it requires being an authentic, friendly person, but covertly sharing the truth.
This friend of mine, this colleague that I worked just sitting next to her for a long time, we had many opportunities to share, to talk about spiritual things. She had never had any contact with Christianity or anything different there than her religion. And just knowing that if not by you, maybe they would never hear anything about Jesus.
Adventist Mission's Global Mission Initiative helps local fields support tent makers by providing training and materials. Global Mission also helps with spiritual retreats so that tent makers can meet together, share experiences, get training, and most important, fellowship and be spiritually refreshed. Tent makers often work in isolation, and this connects them with others who are facing similar experiences.
It's the biggest mission that we can ever do, You don't need to be a nurse or a pastor or a teacher. You can be anything. So I praise God for that.
If you're feeling God's calling to become a tent maker, and you have a job that could get you work in a veiled country or city, visit our website for more information.
We don't need anyone to call us except for Jesus. So just go for it. Share your faith where you are now. And if God calls you to reach the unreached in the 1040 window in the Middle East, North Africa region, go for it. God will take care of you.
My guest today is Pastor Jarosław, who is the president of the West Polish Conference. Pastor, thanks so much for joining us. We're standing in a center of influence in a city in Western Poland. Can you describe for me the territory of West Poland? Tell me about the people, tell me about the region.
The Western Polish Conference covers nearly 2/5 of Poland's total area and is home to almost 14 million people. Among them, there are about 1,700 Adventists. The challenge is huge, as for every Adventist, there are 7,700 non-Adventists. Our missionary work tackles this enormous task. What happened here in Zielona Góra is a guidepost. It shows the direction for our church mission in other places in our conference.
So, Pastor, you have a big mission challenge here.
It's a big challenge, but also a joyous one. For years I have dreamed of a Polish center of influence. A few years ago we met with people who shared this dream, and the result is this project. It began with dreams, and through discussions we moved to further details. 3 years ago, we had concrete ideas of the center, but the COVID-19 pandemic stood in our way. Yet, thanks to God's grace and our members' enthusiasm, last year we opened the Center of Influence in Zielona Góra.
So, Pastor, in this center of influence here, we see Christ's method of ministry being put into practice. Why is that method so important?
I am convinced that the method we use is crucial. Jesus was a friend to people, not just a teacher. He was a healer. He mingled with people. Our work in Zielona Góra uses the method of Jesus. We go to people, meet with them, and talk with them. We share stories about their struggles and problems. We offer help in many different fields. We offer the best we have. And this gives us great joy. People come here willingly. They befriend us. They feel very happy with our presence.
So a center of influence requires people who are committed and willing to invest in this ministry. Describe the people who are working here for the church.
The talks about the Center of Influence in Zielona Góra began with meetings and discussions with Alicja, a pastor's wife, serving here in Zielona Góra. Then we talked to Asia, a young person from Gdańsk. She lived far from Zielona Góra, but was fascinated by this kind of work. We found numerous Ukrainian community members who also joined us here in Zielona Góra. Thus, our team began to build, and we all work in the center of influence. Our team hosts people from various fields, including plastic arts and massage. Sister Joasia is our coordinator. Sister Alicja helps people who are in need of family guidance. This is our focus here. We decided to call the center of influence the holistic center of the family. Of course, we help not only families, but also people who need, for example, physiotherapy. The people in the center form a well-coordinated team. They create a family-like atmosphere, welcoming outsiders in.
So that's a wonderful blessing. Pastor, as you look at this center and you look at your mission challenge, what is your hope for the future?
Our experiences in Zielona Góra may serve as an example. Maybe we will not be able to replicate this project's scale everywhere. But I know that wherever Adventists are and where we have congregations, we can create centers of influence to a size according to our abilities. We can offer help to people based on God-given potential. And in modest conditions, we offer what God has given us. I am convinced that this way we can carry out God's mission to the world, and He can work through us in the cities where we live.
Pastor, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And viewers at home, Christ's method of ministry is still the best method of ministry, and we see this center of influence here making connections with the community that wouldn't be possible in any other way. And we thank God for the way that He's led committed church members to give of their time to invest in this center of influence. And we pray that more centers will be started all through Poland. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Zielona Góra, and behind me you can see just a fragment of the city walls that were built back in the 1430s during the Hussite Wars. They were only demolished 300 years later as the city expanded. Well, next up we're going to meet a young man who is serving in Bangladesh.
I'm here in Brazil with a young man, Kevin Dantes, who decided to give 1 year of his life in mission. So tell me about that 1 year. Where did you go and what did you do?
Okay, I went to Uruguay in the year 2014 and worked as a Bible worker there. So we were making some projects with people in health kitchen things and classes and everything, and working with the preaching based on relationship with people.
Now, some people may not know what 1 year in mission is. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is and how did you find out about it?
Okay, the 1 year in mission project is a project with young people that want to take 1 year of their life and work as a missionary in something special. The main reason of the project is to build some leadership on the young people. So I heard about this in my union here, and they told me if I want to go, asked me if I want to go, and I tried, and they called me to go there.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, a lot, really, really. Not only 1 year in mission, I didn't want to stop doing this. I wanted to continue doing it.
And so after 1 year, you wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
Now there's different types of mission. There's the Bible work you're doing, but there's also another type of mission where we are helping people physically, touching their lives. And so you went and you volunteered to do humanitarian work. Now, where was that?
In Bangladesh, like the second year in mission. 1 year in mission, 2 years in mission
2 years
now.
in mission.
So I worked there as a graphic designer. So I went in every place in the country to work with them, know them, help them, and show them the love of Jesus.
So let Jesus live through your life as you're helping people. Now, you said you went to graphic design. Is that all you did?
No, so I went to a lot of places, knowing the people, showing how they could make some things to help their life get better. So we had project in education and finances and everything like this. So graphic design was one of those things I did in there.
So graphic design is what got you out there, but they involved you in almost everything.
Yeah.
So teaching people how to maybe earn a living, is that what it was? What they call income generation?
Yes.
Yeah, so wonderful. So when you're looking at a country like Bangladesh and it's so different, what do you think you learned by going someplace so different from where your home is?
I really enjoyed being there because they teach me a lot of things. And one of those things is to know that I'm not alone in this world. And I could know a really different situation that I was seeing in my country. So it helped me to look at the world as the world, not only my country.
So would you say that going to a country that's so different from your home country took you out of your comfort zone?
Of course. So I didn't know how to show the love of God to every people in the world. So I didn't know in Brazil how could I do this. But now I needed to learn how to speak to other people, how to go to other country and other culture and talk to them. So this was a reminder to me that the world is big, really big.
Now, is there a story that you can share either from your time in Uruguay or where you were doing more Bible work, or when you're working in Bangladesh where you're helping people in a more physical way? Is there any story that stands out in your mind that you can share?
Oh, there are a lot of stories, but one of them, we were in a village. They had some religion there that they believed that gods were among them, but in another dimension like this. So we were there helping the people, taking care of them, and when we were going out in this place, they started to make noise. So we said, why are they doing this? So the guy who was with us explained to us why they were doing this, to call the gods to be with them and protect them. So we asked, but you told us that they come here in sunset, but now it's night already. So he said, no, they believe you were sent by the gods to help them, to carry them, so to protect them. Now you are leaving, now they are calling them.
So wait, so they were calling them because you were leaving, because they thought you had been sent.
Yeah.
To also help them. Because you were doing things to make a positive change in their life.
Yeah.
And now that you were going,
now they couldn't call them.
Now they needed.
Yes.
Wow. It just shows what a world of difference we live in when it comes to beliefs, and how do we really find that way to share? I think the only way is by having God's presence with us. Thank you very much for sharing your experience.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Zielona Góra, and we're in the old marketplace here, which dates back to the beginning of the 14th century. Well, next up we're going to travel to Tokyo and learn about answered prayer, and it's going to be showing what has happened with the generous giving of church members to a project there.
It's said that a true friend will be there for you both in good times and bad. For nearly 50 years, Terumi Akio has been Kaoru Tonuma's best friend. They first met back in the academy, and they have remained best friends since. Terumi is a volunteer worker who has been serving with her husband on Mission Unusual Tokyo projects for about a year. Kaoru had always hoped that Sayori, her eldest daughter, would accept Jesus and be baptized, but sadly, she showed no interest. In late 2021, Kaoru was hospitalized with potentially crippling brain disease in the midst of complications brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic.
At the time, the doctor told me that she had a chance to live. However, the chances of regaining consciousness were very small. It was really difficult for me to accept this reality.
I was shocked about the news. I soon arranged a prayer group with her friends at the Academy alumni to pray for her healing. With the power of prayer and God's grace, the prayer was answered. She woke up from her state of unconsciousness and regained consciousness.
Seeing how Terumi and her friends came together to pray for her mother and witnessing what happened with her mother triggered in Sayori an awareness of God's existence. She looked for her Bible and started to read. As she read, Sayori remembered that her mother's great hope was to see her get baptized. She started looking for an Adventist church nearby, but because of COVID-19 restrictions, churches with large congregations were closed. Fortunately, Sayori found an Adventist church that was still open.
I contacted the church members and the pastor and told him that I wanted to be baptized on my birthday, March 17th.
Excited about the change in Sayori's life, Terumi connected her with the church planting team of Mission Unusual Tokyo. Since November 2021, while still attending Funabashi Church, Sayori has created strong ties with the volunteer workers at MUT.
Every Friday, she joined our small group online meeting. We all grow spiritually with each other by sharing and praying together every single week. It's so encouraging to see some good things happening to Sayori.
Chizu, who lives at the Yokohama JUC campus in Tokyo, became a mentor to Sayori and provided her personal, holistic support. A small discipleship team naturally formed as these three ladies enjoyed the New Start concept together.
We spent time together experiencing all 8 parts of it, walking around, testifying and praying with each other, eating healthy, drinking enough water, and worshiping God together in my apartment.
It was the way of life of the Adventists around me that boosted my confidence towards baptism. I saw genuine love, care, and support from this group. I am happy I can meet these people. God is real.
Love can break through the hardest things. This includes people's hearts and also the steel and concrete cities like Tokyo, Japan. To reach more people in this city, the Adventist Church in Japan invited the General Conference and the Northern Asia Pacific Division to partner with them to create Mission Unusual, a comprehensive church planting and disciple-making movement. Tokyo is among the largest cities in the world, making it a focus for Mission to the Cities and Global Mission. A team of church planting missionaries is already on the ground, learning the language and how best to share Jesus with the Japanese. Mission Unusual Tokyo involves global mission pioneers, urban centers of influence, global mission centers, volunteers, and tent makers in a concerted effort to reach the city for Jesus. Please pray for Sayori, the first person baptized from the Mission Unusual Tokyo initiative. And please pray for the missionaries, the global mission pioneers, and the volunteers. We believe God has big plans for this, the largest city in the world.
Well, that's about it for today's program, and I hope that you've enjoyed what you've seen and heard. But more than that, I hope that you've been challenged as you've seen frontline mission around the world. As you look at what Global Mission is doing, you'll see that there's one thing in common, whether it be an urban center of influence, whether it be a Global Mission pioneer church planter, and that is Christ's method of ministry, where we mingle with people, we show sympathy, we minister to needs, we win confidence, and then we bid them to follow Jesus. And I want to thank you for your part in making this happen. Thank you so much for your prayers. Thank you for your financial support, your donations to Global Mission, and thank you also for your personal involvement. Well, for Adventist Mission, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope that you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.